Again, the separation of church and state is not in the Constitution. And from this day forward, if anyone says that to you, and they're in public office or serve in any agency in any official capacity, they have to point out exactly where you have violated the Constitution. Because
Gods. Are we trying to make a deal with Iran, or are we trying to become Iran? Folks, that was Dan Patrick, the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Texas, here to bravely let us all know that the phrase separation of church and state is not in the Constitution, as if we didn't know that already. I mean, I would try to point out that the document is written down in English, but MAGA keeps treating it like a Where's Waldo book that they can't finish. Last week, His Majesty the King had told us all that his Religious Liberty Commission had decided that that phrase was a legal error and proposed building bridges between evangelical institutions and government agencies. We do not need bridges. We need traffic cones and a sign that says "Do not enter." We already went through this in 1784. The founders had this gripe session before indoor plumbing was a rumor. See, MAGA remembers Patrick Henry for saying, "Give me liberty or give me death." They know the soundbite. Half of them think he was one of the guys in Hamilton, and none of them know why he said it. They refuse to acknowledge that he later said, "Give me your tax dollars for evangelical preachers." He just said it with a lot more powdered wig energy. See, in 1784, Patrick Henry, who was the bad boy of the Revolution and my 7th great grandfather, proposed a bill before the Virginia Assembly. It was literally called a bill establishing a provision for teachers of the Christian religion. In other words, giving money to preachers. It would have taxed every Virginian, sent that money to preachers, let folks pick the denomination like it was DoorDash, and then dump the remaining leftovers into a seminary fund controlled by the Assembly. He basically wrote America's first mandatory subscription to Jesus. Not long after that, James Madison showed up like the founding father version of absolutely not. He wrote an essay called Memorial and Remonstrance Against Religious Assessments, which was 15 paragraphs of religious liberty is a natural right, stop mixing church and state, this is why we can't have nice things, also, limited government means limited government. And then Thomas Jefferson entered the chat. Woo! Jefferson hated my great-granddaddy. Y'all, I'm talking write this shit on my tombstone levels of petty. 9 years earlier, Jefferson had written a law that was meant to protect religious freedom. But a lot of folks in Virginia were too afraid that it might restrict Christians too much. So the bill was shelved and forgotten. Until 1785. Madison's out here trying to stop us from turning into the Hobby Lobby Republic, and suddenly Jefferson's bill is now the hottest thing since musket fire. The Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom was passed in 1786. Jefferson was so proud that he listed it as one of the 3 accomplishments he wanted on his tombstone. Not President of the United States, not the Louisiana Purchase. Please remember that I told y'all to stop mixing church and state. So no, we are not now and have never been a Christian nation. Doesn't matter if that phrase is in the Constitution. The founders clearly thought the First Amendment was enough of an explanation.